So today we are going to evaluate Perry's study on personal space. This means we're going to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of the study. Remember, Perry's study was a study that considered the effects of oxytocin on personal space and empathy. There were 2 laboratory experiments involving a computer simulation. One part of the experiment involved having a comfortable amount of distance between you and another person. Could be a stranger, could be someone you knew. And the second part of the experiment was you choosing different layouts of a room. And the only differences were the way the chairs were facing or the distance apart from the chairs. So because this experiment took place at a university in an artificial setting, it's going to have low ecological validity. And remember, ecological validity is the likelihood of something happening like in the real world. Now, our participants use hypothetical strangers, hypothetical people that they knew. So the choices that they made in the study may not be exactly representative of what they would do in real life. And furthermore, they were asked to do these and make these choices using computer-generated images, not like real-life skills in person. And for this simple fact, the experiments 1 and 2 using computer simulation basically lacks mundane realism. Now, I may have said it incorrect before, but ecological validity has to do with your environment being real, where mundane realism has to do with like the actual actions being real or able to happen in real life. Because in real life, our decisions about interacting with people or getting close to people or having distance between people might have to do with their personal social cues, like their moods, their facial expressions, their gestures, and we did not see this in this study. It was all computer-generated images. However, the study does have good internal validity. The order of the experiments was counterbalanced. Half of the participants experienced experiment 1 and then experiment 2, and then the other half did experiment 2 first and then experiment 1. And we did this to prevent order effect, in the sense that completing one of the experiments would somehow change someone's perspective or decision making on the second experiment. And we were able to control for extraneous variables, because after the injection of oxytocin or saline, whichever group you were in, there was like a waiting room, and this kind of helped to get rid of extraneous variables. And for the cream of the crop of experiments, we have a double-blind experiment. And this is when our experimenters or observers do not know which group you are in. They don't know if you're in the group that received oxytocin or the group that received the saline. And our participants also did not know which group they were in. This means that there's less likelihood for demand characteristics. And the results are going to be free from researcher bias. This laboratory experiment allowed for high standardized procedures. So for example, in experiment 2, the computer-generated images showed the rooms for 2 seconds for everyone. So it's not like some people got to see the room or look at the room for longer periods of time and make decisions. They were all based on the same amount of time viewing the rooms. And this means that the results were more reliable. And basically, the experiment can be repeated, and we can expect the same results.